This news program is proudly brought to you by
Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits
and Now Biscuits.
NCSL partners with Telecom Limited. Nation's capital incurs up to 1.6 million kina for the running of the 2022 elections. And a teacher shot dead following an attempted robbery and carjacking in Maprik. A very good evening. You're watching National EMTV News. I'm Godwin Eki. Thank you for joining us. Nest Fund Contributors Savings and Loans Limited has made a strategic commercial decision to partner with Telecom Limited in providing mobile banking services. In a media conference held today at Telecom Rumana, both the NCSL CEO Wari Lahui and Telecom Limited CEO Amos Tepi assured stakeholders that the transition process will be smooth.
NCSL contributors will now need to migrate to using Telecom and B-Mobile SIM cards to access their NCSL banking services. This was made known by the CEO of NCSL today.
This is not a new arrangement for NCSL. It is a continuation of what we had, but what we are hoping to do is that it would be on an enhanced level, which will enable our members right around the country to have access to this service. It's a widely used service for our members. Normally, the service is used by our members to access their balances, initiate withdrawal applications as well as loan applications, and we're looking to have that services fully operational.
Mr. Lahui stated the reasons why NCSL had decided to make this move.
The reason why we decided to have this on the Telecom B-Mobile network. We previously had this service widely used with another network, but there were some issues and challenges that we came across, and as a result, we had conferred with our board, and as a result, there was a commercial decision made for us to have this partnership with Telecom.
In welcoming the decision by NCSL to join Telecom, a delighted Telecom Limited CEO Amos Tepi stated that the local telco company will ensure to resolve the coverage issues and reliability of services to all NCSL staff in the rural and local areas.
But this signing is more special one of what we want to see going forward in future. We want to be our best service provider to NCSL. With that, all I can say is we're looking forward to get more service oriented. We want to look at giving the members comfort at their convenience. We need to provide that service. And mobile upgrades has been already done in most of the centers as we speak.
The Telecom CEO further elaborated on the areas Telecom Network carry out its coverage.
Yes, there is, and we've got a couple of MPs also coming on board with us, and we are doing a rollout. And one of those is TYCRC we've done already. The other one that we've done is Finsaven. The other one we've done is in Bongo district in the Southern Island, and we've done. Now we're going to Telefomi. Also, we're doing that. So Telefomi, we're probably looking at by before third quarter ends, we should complete all the rollout towers that we're doing now.
How and where the rollout process will occur, including registration for NCSL members to obtain Telecom or B-Mobile SIM cards, will be made known in the coming weeks. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
Telecom Limited in Lae has farewelled the Momase Eastern Highlands Regional Head, Mr. Kevin Howard. Mr. Howard contributed to the successful merging of Telecom PNG and B-Mobile and was described by his staff and co-workers as a hard-working man.
Telecom's Lae Core Network Manager, Peter Ray, says Howard has an understanding of the PNG culture and has been working well with the team, and he will be missed. Ray says Howard has been showing great leadership at Telecom Limited and had been a great role model to fellow employees.
Howard is probably the last expatriate from the region in as far as Telecom is concerned now to be leaving us. It leaves only national team in charge of the company, and hopefully we get to move things the way we wanted to do.
Ray says Howard holds true leadership qualities and is always going an extra mile to get things done for Telecom Limited. Howard is the last expatriate to leave the Telecom Limited Momase Eastern Highlands region.
Like I said, his leadership was in such that leadership is influence. Influencing others to be able to. And like I was sharing with the team yesterday, and a lot of the young people got to appreciate the difference.
Ray says Telecom and B-Mobile merged 16 months ago, and it is sad to see a manager who was instrumental in the merger to leave. Northern Regional Head of HR and Administration, Esther Simon, has confirmed that a new regional head for the business will be joining the regional office in Lae next week, Monday. Natasha Ovoy, National EMTV News.
During the inquiry into the 2022 national general elections this morning, Chairman of the committee, Alan Bird, questioned if interference by scrutineers is allowed by law, as was the case in the recent election in NCD. Chairman and Governor of East Sepik, Alan Bird, and members of the committee comprising of Deputy Chair and Abau MP Sepukatemu, Kit Idihu, Hiri Koyari MP, and Elias Kapavore, Pomio MP, inquired into the operations of the recent national election.
NCD election manager Kila Ralai told the committee that intimidation, threats and favoritism were experienced during the elections in NCD.
We have to proceed the counting regardless of any disputes. I stand firm all the way. And that is where we delay the counting process, because there was intimidations, there was threat made to us.
Chairman of the committee queried on the sanctions of scrutineers interfering in the election process.
Under our current rules, the candidates and their scrutineers who intimidate and threaten counting officials, what are the sanctions?
This was Mr. Ralai's response.
They should be referred to the security personnel to look at those issues, and if there are any regulations that to be attended to them, they shall be dealt with.
Ralai further told the committee that scrutineers must be trained not to interfere with election processes. He said there was a lot of interference and intimidation by candidates and their scrutineers. All 4 members of the Special Parliamentary Committee today gave assurance that this will not happen again moving into the 2027 elections. The committee further instructed Metropolitan Police in the city through Senior Inspector David Terry to provide the committee with a written list of penalties that should be implemented in terms of intimidation and interference by candidates and scrutineers, and to present the list to the committee in 2 weeks' time. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
The nation's capital was the first to commence polling in 2022 national general election and the last to conclude polling. The cost incurred from the running of the elections in NCD totaled up to 1.6 million kina. This was revealed today by NCD election manager Kila Ralai during the inquiry into the conduct of the 2022 national general elections.
under the organic law, which says
facing the Special Parliamentary Committee this morning to present their report were members of NCD Election Steering Committee comprising of the City Manager Raul Frank, Staff Officer for Police for NCD and Central, Senior Inspector David Terry, who stepped in for former NCD Metropolitan Superintendent Gideon Ikumu, and NCD Election Manager Killer Ralai. The committee, through its chairman and ECP Governor Alan Bird, questioned why NCD, being the leading center in the country, the first to go to the polls and ended up being the last to declare members. This was NCD Election Manager Killer Ralai's response.
Major challenges that I have faced in 2022 national elections. One, funding. Second, the role.
Ralai further highlighted evident challenges during the course of the elections in NCD.
It was a nightmare for my operation team, especially when you talk about logistics. It was a nightmare. One day poll. On that polling day, there were 5 polling teams refrained from polling after the ATS shooting.
He labeled the one-day polling for NCD alone as a nightmare for his staff, adding that out of the 202 polling teams that were dispersed to 202 polling sites throughout the city, only 106 fully completed polling. Ralai blamed issues like rural-urban drift, increase in population, law and order issues, and decline in the economy as factors which affected the running of the 2022 national general elections in NCD. Chairman of the committee, Alan Bird, clarified that questions raised by the committee will help guide the process to make amends or review if need be, and for Papua New Guineans to be guaranteed a safe and transparent election come 2027. Lindy Suharupa, National MTV News.
As DataCo continues to protect the privacy of information of individuals, organizations and institutions, DataCo as a government entity has been implementing support services and processes, policies, reviews and assistance to formulate protective measures when it comes to information and cybersecurity. A consultant to DataCo is Emmanuel Jigo, who holds a PhD in cybersecurity, says it is very important to provide advice on all cybersecurity matters with respect to DataCo's operations in the country.
The government, through DataCo, is now focusing on research and is concentrating on cybersecurity threats in the country through mobile devices and other electronic threats that may impact the lives of people and the country. DataCo has engaged a consultant to help identify cyber threats. Mr. Jigo says the government plays a pivotal role when it comes to cybersecurity in protecting the country, its people and businesses, because it is the government's responsibility to come up with policies, guidelines and best practices.
The role of government is to essentially set up a centralized entity where they are able to share intelligence, threat intelligence that are acquired from the rest of the world. And with this central entity, there would be businesses, individuals can report any type of threat to this entity, and then actions can be taken. Cyber attack does burden organizations, governments, even individuals. So
he said the role of the government is to set up centralized information systems through an entity where reports can be reported and certain measures are then taken.
Another way government can really get involved with this is through, as I mentioned, certification. So you need your ISO 27001, and this is an international certification that provides governments and private organizations, standards to follow in order to provide their information security, data protection.
He says using proper procedures of data usage and information sharing can be seen through the form of a certification that provides standards when using information to ensure security and data is protected at all levels.
With social engineering specifically, phishing is a good method of infiltrating an organization or even people, and you're essentially just collecting personal details from individuals and using it against them. And this can be far-reaching.
He urged citizens to be extra careful when sharing personal and private information online when using electronic gadgets such as mobile phones and computers, and abstain from clicking on unwanted links when receiving emails.
A teacher from Morbe province was brutally shot dead after an attempted robbery and carjacking at Warakom village along the Sepik Highway at Maprik on Tuesday. This was confirmed by Police Commander Superintendent Christopher Tamari today.
According to Provincial Police Commander Superintendent Christopher Tamari, the suspects involved in the attempted robbery are known by police and arrests will be made soon. In a phone interview with this newsroom, PPC Tamari condemned the killing, saying it was an unfortunate situation with the killing of a teacher.
Well, it's unfortunate that, we had one of those occurring armored up robbery along the Sepik Highway. Well, the robbery took place at about 7 a.m. Tuesday, 18/4/23, location Warangum, around just past Balif section of Sepik Highway at Maprik. Why they opened fire was because the driver, when he saw the hold up in progress, he never stopped. He continued driving on. He continued to drive. That's as a result of that, the suspect, the robbers opened fire. Unfortunately, one female teacher was shot dead. Okay, the deceased believed to be from Morobe, married to a Yankok guy. Okay, 5 suspects were identified, armed with one Winchester pump action shotgun, factory made, and 3 homemade guns. That's according to our intel and our investigations with local communities. Suspects particularly unknown, still at large.
Superintendent Tamari said he is yet to send a reinforcement team from the provincial capital Wewak to Warangom and nearby villages along Maprik district to work alongside the rural police to make arrests and stabilize law and good order in the area. PPC Tamari further said regular road patrols along the Sepik Highway is ongoing and will continue, calling on all provincial leaders to assist police. Meantime, it is understood Maprik MP Gabriel Caprice has allocated 4 million kina towards police operations in Maprik. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
And National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. Member for Gumini District of Chimbu Province, Dawa Lucas Dekena, has presented a check of over 200,000 kina to the PNG Civil Identity Registry to roll out NID registrations in the district. This is in line with a memorandum of understanding signed 2 months ago between the Gumini District and PNG NID.
Gumini District is the 23rd district to roll out the NID project. While presenting the check today at Moale House in Port Moresby, member for Gumini says he is happy to support the PNG Civil and Identity Registry, as this is one way of keeping data of people in his district. He confirmed that they will continue to fund until they complete registering everyone in the district.
Now I'm happy to present this check of 236,363 to the Office of PNG Civil and Identity Registry to actually start to get mobilize your staff and equipment, and we will continue to fund this until we finish it. And because of the nature of our landscape and everything, Gumni have been, Gumni citizens have come out into other areas of other parts of the country too. So if I would work closely with this office to ensure that we register every Gumni citizen wherever they are in the country. If it means we put more funding in, yes, we will do that too.
The acting Deputy Registrar General Salome Keari has assured the member for Gumini that the team is ready to go out and carry out the work.
It's a challenge for us, and we're looking forward to it. We have this 95% policy direction from the national government to complete at least 95% of the overall population by 2025. So as much as we can, we're looking at every opportunity to engage with our local community through whatever partnership, especially the DDA partnerships, because you are the district.
She also mentioned that they have recruited 49 volunteers this week, which brings the total number of PNG NID staff up to a total of 500.
Our teams will be sent out to start operations. It will depend on the provincial registrar and her team in Chimbu, which is a big and active team, to go out and do registrations. We've resourced them with a vehicle, so they have a vehicle. They have an office that's got backup genset to it, backup water to it. So they're fully kitted and they're fully ready to do registrations in the province as well as in the district. So.
Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
The Porgera riverine landowners have requested the government to formulate a compensation agreement for the riverine landowners which are greatly impacted by the billion cubic meters of waste rocks, sediments and tailings that are discharged by the Porgera gold mine directly into the river system.
The riverine communities are subsistence farmers and alluvial gold miners and fishermen whose livelihoods are dependent on the river system and the riverbank surrounding area. For 30 years, they've claimed that the Porgera mine tailings have destroyed the environment and their habitat as a result of dumping of sedimentary waste and tailings and additional stone and rocks from erodible dumps.
Ting blom ibla osem. Permit blong dumping waste long wara. Mibla to nogat. Permit government no can give him. Mibla no allow him all dumping waste long wara until he come one time on black compensation agreement one time mibla. Now if they want to verify the damages and all this law, they can go ahead and conduct the audit. You think, man? Because people are asking his government to autolog, but only he failed and only been conducting.
Over the years, they've also met with 3 different secretaries to the Prime Minister and gone to government departments, and they have always been told to get SEPA to provide an audit of the river system. They are now calling on SEPA to act on behalf of the landowners.
As the responsible government authority, I appeal to you to conduct an audit and do the right thing for us. You have failed us for the last 30 years, and it's because of your ignorance, now failure, maybe establish this last state. So I'm appealing to the SIPA to step up and...
The LOs are now calling on the government to intervene and assist them, and while they are thankful to the Marape Rosso government, who refused the renewal of a special mining lease in 2019, using environmental damage as one of the main reasons, they are always overlooked in the negotiation stages. The LOs, however, are thankful from the support they receive from local MPs.
Na PM them including Reverend, so named Reverend staff still them call him so I'm staffing with the support of the governor for Western Awiyoto, support him na MTM Kolosla, and then at the same time member Blo Sundown, Solan Mirsim, support him Kolosla, on the 18th of March, member Blo Korba Legubiago, William White Bando, total of floor parliament. So thank you, Lord Slow leaders, where all support him, Mibla Slow, especially come up mouth Pete Plumibla. Now all expressing this concerns where Mibla got Logan.
The group is now appealing to the government to consider the riverine people's concerns and initiate a negotiation process for a separate compensation agreement. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will officially visit PNG in May for a bilateral meeting with PNG Prime Minister James Marape and leaders from the Pacific Island countries for the Forum for India-Pacific Island Countries. This year's summit is the third and will be co-hosted by PNG and India in May. Over the Easter long weekend, the Indian High Commission was on lockdown as an advance delegation from the Indian Prime Minister's office were in town to meet with the Indian High Commissioner, his staff, and our first respondent teams like the police and military, as preparations are well underway for the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to PNG.
Going on and is going well. It is spearheaded by the Department of Foreign Affairs along with the Ministry of National Events, Foreign Minister, the Secretary Department of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Elias Wohingu, the Foreign Minister, Honorable Justin Tachenko, and the Honorable, and they are spearheading the preparations. I am sure the Prime Minister's Department is supervising this, and we look forward to a very fruitful summit. And this is going to be one of its kind event, and it is not only an event of something, say, physical show. It will also result in concrete actions. That is what I'm looking at.
As the government continues to work its way around protecting data information in the country, Data Coast consultant Emmanuel Jigo says protecting SMEs from cyber crimes and hackers is very important. He said those organizations prone to cyber attacks are particularly financial businesses.
With the use of internet on high demand in the country, internet usage has its advantage and disadvantage when it comes to sharing personal information online. A group that could be affected or impacted the most in a country and most vulnerable are the small to medium enterprises. Data Coast consultant Emmanuel Jigo says with the ever-increasing number of SMEs in the country, these small businesses are prone to cyber attacks or hacking.
Well, small and medium businesses in Papua New Guinea are the most prone because they don't have proper protections in hand, and they don't have the technology, updated technology, to protect against these cyber attacks. They're mainly vulnerable due to their outdated technology. Because one thing I've noticed is the updating of even just the software is not done on a regular basis. You could have software that was last updated in 2007 maybe, or they're using computers that were used back in 2007 and this is 2023. And the financial impact to these small and medium businesses is vast. They can lose a lot of revenue because a cyber attack can pause their.
He said SMEs must be careful when sharing their company profiles or private information. Hackers will take any personal information, such as date of birth of individuals, email address, names, and credit cards in order to hack into the system.
Common ways that they're attacked are through social engineering. This is a main focus. So this is essentially just tricking an individual into providing private information, whether it be credit card details, first, last name, birth date, or any social security type of details. You also have ransomware, and of course, ransomware is essentially just encryption of organizational data or any data within a system. And social engineering can be a conduit for getting the ransomware onto a system. So those are the main methods that these cyber criminals are using to get into target individuals and businesses or organizations.
He said through DataCo, the government is working hard to ensure that when it comes to cybersecurity and the country protects its people and businesses from hackers.
And now looking at the Nest Fund market report, the Kina closed unchanged at 0.2840 US dollars in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, Kina was buying 0.2765 US dollars, 0.4093 Australian dollars, 0.2448 euro, 36.80 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York closed, gold is trading lower, coffee closed lower, cocoa closed higher, copra closed higher, palm oil closed higher, crude oil is trading lower, copper closed higher. On the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading higher, and the All Ordinaries is trading higher. National EMTV News continues after the break with more stories. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. The Summit for Special Economic Zone will commence next month in PNG. Minister for International Trade and Investment Richard Maru says experts from 6 countries will be attending.
Minister Richard Maru emphasized that PNG has a huge potential to increase industrial activities, which will boost the economy of the country. He says the summit scheduled for the 7th to 9th of May 2023 will determine what economic activity the country will participate in.
Talking power, water, communications, law and order, connect PNG in terms of roads. We want to invite PNG Post to do a presentation on their plan for more wharves in the country. So we are looking at a whole lot of presenters, including the Lands Minister, to talk about how do we mobilize land for IGZ development in the country.
He says experts from 6 countries will be coming to attend this summit.
6 countries come and present the experiences on IGZs. And we're talking Bangladesh, we're talking Indonesia, we're talking the Philippines, we're also talking China, and we're hoping that there'll be an African speaker to be confirmed in the next day or so. So we're looking at 6 countries to come and say their experiences on how the SZs have helped to transform their countries, which is very important for our country.
Vice Minister Casey Sawang stressed that PNG should have its own industrial centers to process raw minerals and resources instead of exporting them.
So, I really encourage those who are in the industry and those who wish to partner with Papua New Guinea, our government, our business, our industries to move our country from where we are into an industrialized country.
The Acting Secretary Jacinta Warakai Manua highlighted some reasons for hosting this summit.
We've got, that begins the work to be done. We will have to go into feasibility studies to look at what the recommendations are from the master plan in terms of areas identified as for us to start. The study will also give us a phased approach to see which areas are easy for us to start, medium term and long term.
Jim John, National EMTV News.
The Waigani District Court has cleared Peter Nupiri of all charges this morning on election-related violence in Mendi, Southern Highlands Province during the 2022 national general elections. District Court Magistrate Denny Wakikura cleared Mr. Nupiri on the 2 charges of interfering with the electoral process and instigating violence during the national elections.
The Waigani District Court Magistrate Danny Wakikura told Peter Nupiri of Olea Village in the Southern Highlands Province that he had considered submissions from his defense counsel and the prosecution found insufficient evidence on the 2 judges. Peter Nupiri contested in the 2022 national general elections as the regional candidate for the Southern Highlands Province and was accused of destroying properties. He was charged with 1 count each of willfully and unlawfully destroying property and interfering in the electoral process. A police summary of facts alleged that during the National General Election 2022, more than 200 marked Southern Highlands regional ballot boxes were disputed in the counting process. Today, the court found insufficient evidence and cleared Nupri of the charges.
I'm relieved at the moment. This matter was a politically motivated arrest on me for something that I wasn't directly involved with. And the police pursued a matter that did not have enough evidence to prosecute me. But they ridiculed me through this process. And I am very disappointed that we had to come down this far, only to be dismissed.
Nupri said now that he is cleared, he will concentrate on his election petitions.
Now that this matter is over, I've focused on these election petitions, where the trial date has been set from July 3rd to July 27. We have all the summonses and all the paperwork in place. We're looking forward to that.
He is appealing to his supporters to remain calm as he continues his fight in court through his election petition 91 of 2022, which challenges the special circumstance declaration of the sitting governor for the Southern Highlands province. Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
Improving the health sector in Papua New Guinea is vital for effective health service delivery. Currently, a few medical scientists in the country are working to establish proper research and data to help reduce the spread of drug-resistant infections.
PNG began to work on antimicrobial resistance, or AMR, in 2015 and finalized its first national action plan with support from the Fleming Fund, which is the fund support from the United Kingdom in 2019. The support is an effort to work with the National Department of Health, Department of Agriculture and Livestock, and the Department of Environment and Conservation to help improve patient health, make informed health policies, and be able to recognize warning signs of emerging threats. Country Director of Bennett Institute, Dr. Kuda Kwase, says drug-resistant infections are a leading threat worldwide. Hence, strategies and interventions are needed to combat this issue in PNG.
To make sure that we have very quality results and data to inform treatment and response for antimicrobial resistance. So we'll talk about surveillance, disease surveillance, and that looks at surveillance of resistance, surveillance of antimicrobial use. Dr. Sobli mentioned about the prescribing practices, but also consumption, how much of antibiotics are actually consumed here in PNG.
He added that under the National Department of Health, they are focusing in supporting a few medical laboratories in the country to tackle this issue.
Mosby Hospital Lab, we're working in Goroka, the Goroka Lab, as well as Mount Hagen, Ley in Angao, and Nonga to a small extent.
Jim John, National EMTV News.
Health services in the country need to be improved so that health professionals can deliver effective clinical services. This ongoing problem has been affecting the work of health workers, hence leaders of respective provinces and districts, including the current government, should work together to establish proper health facilities. These statements were made by Dr. Gabriel Ark from the Port Moresby General Hospital.
Had this problem, but we just haven't had the funding, the capacity, and when I say capacity, that's manpower, the specialist manpower, as well as laboratory infrastructure, machines to be able to diagnose and then make that available to the clinicians to use that evidence-based result to treat our patients. So in effect, prior to all...
You're watching National EMTV News. Trukai Sports is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The Trukai Fun Run, which is a few weeks away, is held every year to raise funds for Team PNG athletes. Fundraiser from this year's Trukai Fun Run will go towards Team PNG's participation to this year's Pacific Games in Solomon Island. The popular Trukai Fun Run, hosted every year by the PNG Olympic Committee, the Sports Foundation and Trukai Industries, is to help raise funds for Team PNG athletes who prepare every year, week in, week out, to attend certain international sporting events. Now, for this year, Trukai Fun Run is hosting its Trukai Fun Run to raise funds for Team PNG athletes who are already in preparation to attend the 2023 Pacific Games, which will take place in Solomon Islands. Now, the fundraiser of the Trukai Fun Run profits will go towards Team PNG in preparing our athletes to get to Solomon Island. The National Rugby League competition will play its round 2 matches this weekend in their respective stadiums around the country. The NCDC Port Moresby Vipers will play an away match against the Agmak Rabaul Gurias in Kokopo. Now, the National Rugby League competition, having successfully opened its 2023 season last week, only witnessed the first match of all the 12 participating teams in the National Rugby League competition. Now, here in Port Moresby, the CPIC Pride as well as the NCDC Port Moresby Vipers walked away victorious in their season opening matches thus far. Now, moving forward to round 2 of this year's Rugby League competition, where all the teams will participate in their second match of the season, the NCDC Port Moresby Vipers will depart for Kokopo tomorrow, where they will take on the Agmak Rabaul Gurias. Now, the Santos National Football Stadium, meanwhile, will also host another double-header this coming weekend. And Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
You're watching Trukai Sports. The SPPNG Hunters will play their 6th match this weekend, where they are hoping to this time around impress their fans, at least with a win this time around on home ground after home ground defeat 3 weekends ago. Now, with 1 win, 1 loss and a draw from the opening 3 matches for the SPPNG Hunters, there is still plenty to be excited about for the SPPNG Hunters. Now, this coming weekend, the Hunters will take on the Gold Coast Bears in the Host Plus Cup in Queensland, Australia. According to Coach Stanley Teppen, he is hoping that this coming weekend, Hunters will put their best foot forward and hopefully come out victorious. The PNG Boxing Union ended its 2-day workshop of theory today, with the remaining days to see all judges and coaches go through their practical. Now, the PNG Boxing Union, as of yesterday, hosted a 2-day workshop involving theory lessons for its judges and coaches. Now, the 2-day workshop was facilitated by an International Boxing Association rep who is in the country and will take the rest of the team towards the end of this week on practical lessons. Now, I spoke to him yesterday, and here's what he had to say about the 2-day workshop.
We go through a 2-day seminar, and we do an exam, theoretical and practical exam. Then we'll grade them on their what they've achieved on a 1-star, 2-star, and 3-star. For the 3 stars that I've been engaged with over the last 15 to 20 years, they will be selected, or they have been selected to go on to Samoa for accreditation.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The Money Plus weather report is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus, with you always.
Weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Southern region, Port Moresby, partly cloudy with few showers and possible thunderstorm. Popondetta, cloudy with frequent showers and possible thunderstorm. In the Momase region, all centers cloudy with frequent showers and possible thunderstorm. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau cloudy with frequent showers and possible thunderstorm. Buka mostly fine. In the Highlands region, Mount Hagen cloudy with rain showers and thunderstorm. Mendi and Wabeg cloudy periods with some showers and thunderstorm.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Thursday, the 20th of April 2023. From the entire news team, pleasant viewing. Good night.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.